Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And we're now up at Edinburgh Castle, as you can see. And this castle was built in the 11th century. And in 1565, Queen Mary, Queen of Scots, made an unpopular marriage with Henry Stuart, or Lord Darnley. And the following year, Mary gave birth to their son, James, in a small room off the palace here at Edinburgh Castle. Now, James would later be King of Scotland, England and Ireland. And James's successor, King Charles I, visited the castle only once, hosting a feast in the Great Hall and staying the night before his Scottish coronation in 1633. Now, in 1639, in response to Charles's attempts to impose episcopacy on the Scottish Church, civil war broke out between the King's forces and the Scottish Covenanters. And the Presbyterian Covenanters, who were led by Alexander Leslie, captured Edinburgh Castle. After a short siege, although it was restored to King Charles after the Peace of Berwick in June the same year. Now, the peace was short-lived, and the following year the Covenanters took the castle again, this time after a 3-month siege. So a lot of action. This castle has definitely seen a lot of action. And the Royalist commander, who was James Graham, was imprisoned here after his capture in 1650. And the castle surrendered to Oliver Cromwell, despite having enough supplies to actually hold out. And then the 9th Earl of Argyll, Archibald Campbell, he was imprisoned here in the castle for religious nonconformism in the reign of King James VII of Scotland, the 2nd of England. Now, he escaped but was recaptured and returned to the castle after his failed rebellion to depose King James II from the throne in 1685. Pretty cool, isn't it? I don't think I'll go in today because I have been in before, and it takes about 3 hours to go around it, and there's other stuff that I want to do, but I did want to show you the castle. Now, Argyll was executed for treason in Edinburgh on the 30th of June 1685, and he was first interred in Greyfriars Kirkyard, but later reburied at Kilmoon Parish Church in the Dukes of Argyll Mausoleum. And then during the Glorious Revolution of 1688, James II, he had been deposed by William, Prince of Orange, as the King of England. That was King William III. The Duke of Gordon, George Gordon, he held Edinburgh Castle for King James and refused to surrender it to the forces of the new king. So you're right up at the castle now. And in March 1689, the castle was blockaded by 7,000 troops against a garrison of just 160 men. And on the 18th of March, Bonnie Dundee John Graham, or Bloody Cleaverhouse as he's known, who led the Jacobite Rising of 1689, he climbed up the western side of Castle Rock, or Edinburgh Castle, and he urged Governor Gordon to hold the castle against the new king. And Gordon would eventually surrender the castle on the 14th of June 1689 after a 3-month siege. And then in March 1707, Gordon, along with other Jacobite lords, was imprisoned here. And so the castle was almost taken in 1715 during the Jacobite rising in Scotland of the Old Pretender. That's James II's son, James Stuart. And if James had been successful in that, then he would have been King James III. And you can see a couple of statues there, William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. I don't know which one's which. Now, the last military action at the castle actually took place during the Jacobite Rising of 1745, whenever the Jacobite army under Charles Edward Stuart, or Bonnie Prince Charlie, the young Pretender, that was the son of the Old Pretender, he captured Edinburgh in September 1745, but General George Preston refused to surrender the castle. And after the Jacobite victory at Preston Ponds on the 21st of September 1745, then the Jacobites attempted to blockade Edinburgh Castle, and you get a good view from up here as well. Now, Charles had no heavy guns, and so he had to call the blockade off. And by November 1745, Charles and his Jacobite army had marched into England, leaving Edinburgh to the castle garrison of General George Preston. Get a good view from up here, don't you? You certainly do. Now, the castle vaults were used to hold prisoners of the 7 Years' War of 1756 to 1763, and also prisoners of the American War for Independence, which was 1775 to 1815, and also the Napoleonic Wars of 1803 to 1815. So there you go, folks. That's the history of Edinburgh Castle, at least some of it. You can see a cannon up there, ready for firing. Hope they don't fire today. And alright, we lot of tourists here, even though it is October. You can see, I think that's cannon up there as well. So that's the closest I can get you without paying. So thanks for watching, and God bless.